Dépôt is the foundation of learning for a police officer.
It's challenging, it'll push you to your edge of comfort, but that's a good thing.
The days are long, but the weeks are short.
Il faut être prêt à travailler.
We have a very supportive environment that people just want to work hard.
So we have 3 dormitory buildings. Each holds either 6 or 7 troops at a time. And the troop it consists of 32 cadets. So all 32 cadets will live in the same dormitory space at the same time. So every day, a cadet is responsible for maintaining we call the sleeping area or your personal space, their pit. It's not about making your bed, it's about learning to pay attention to detail, because in the policing world, attention to detail is critical. It can mean the difference between losing a case in court or even between life and death.
Halfway, they will go through the training inspection that the cadets will have to prepare their pits to the highest standards they can, displaying their uniform, displaying the leathers that they have started to polish. The training officer on base will go through the dorm and then ask them individual questions. It could be anything regarding the cadet training program. They have to show self-composure, and they have to answer to an officer professionally as well.
So they have the dorm spaces, and there's a small kitchen area attached to it, and in the basement of all those dorm buildings there's a boot polishing room, gun cleaning room, laundry facilities, and storage space. The mess, so the meals are taken there.
La cafétéria a plusieurs options de nourriture pour les cadets. Quand les cadets identifient qu'ils ont des besoins halal, par exemple, tout ça c'est disponible pour eux.
So basically from the time they have breakfast, throughout the day every class is taken together. They're not individual classes, they work together as a group, and until the day is completed, then they can go back to their dorms or take the time to work on extracurricular material.
Si on regarde Dépôt il y a 20 ans, c'était pas vraiment diversifié. J'étais la seule femme de couleur dans ma troupe. Et maintenant, 20 ans plus tard, on voit que la société est vraiment reflétée dans les troupes qui sont présentement à Dépôt. Alors ça démontre que la GRC a quand même fait des efforts. Mon rôle, c'est de gestionner des programmes comme le EC2I. Ça, c'est le programme d'expérience pré-cadet diversifié et inclusif. Ça fait 1 an ou 2 ans que ça vient de commencer. Puis à date, on a 2 troupes qui ont fait la formation à Dépôt. C'est une réponse à la question que plusieurs employés se sont demandé. Où est-ce que je peux voir mes besoins reflétés et répondus? Ça a commencé avec l'unité anti-racisme qui est devenue, comme j'ai parlé, le secrétariat de la lutte contre le racisme, de l'équité, de la diversité et de l'inclusion. Et puis, c'est vraiment aux réponses aux employés qui avaient les questions de « je ne me vois pas reflété dans les rangs de la GRC, je ne sais pas à qui demander ». Puis voilà pourquoi DREAM en anglais, puis le MDPE a été né. Bien, ça commence vraiment avec un mentorat dans le terrain. Alors, on a des membres réguliers qui se portent volontaires pour parler aux nouveaux Canadiens, personnes diversifiées, pour leur parler un peu de la GRC. C'est quoi la GRC? Qu'est-ce que je fais pour devenir policière? La deuxième partie, c'est 3 semaines à Dépôt Division où ils arrivent et ils fassent un entraînement où on leur donne les outils, on leur donne une opportunité de voir comment est-ce que c'est d'être un cadet à la GRC. Alors là, après 3 semaines, ils peuvent quitter et ils peuvent se poser la question, est-ce que la GRC est pour moi? On espère que la réponse est oui. Puis, ils se sont préparés avec beaucoup plus de support quand ils viennent ici comme cadets. La MDP, c'est un programme qui est vraiment visionné pour supporter les employés de toutes les catégories dans la GRC. Ça, c'est le modèle de maintien de la diversité et de la promotion des employés. Là, on cherche à répondre à la question, quand j'ai 2 ans à 7 ans de service, à qui est-ce que je peux parler? Je m'intéresse à soit promouvier, je m'intéresse à être dans une division ou une section spécialisée. À qui est-ce que je peux demander ces questions? Alors, le programme, c'était vraiment né avec l'idée de mentorat, puis insister que nos employés savent qu'ils sont importants, qu'on veut qu'ils restent avec nous, qu'on leur supporte, non seulement dans leur initiative et leur intérêt, mais ainsi que pour toute leur carrière. Troops that are marching on base now, there isn't an only. Troops it's not just 1 or 2 diverse, it's not just 1 or 2 women. Our troops are very well balanced, and I'm so excited to see what that looks like for our police service as we move forward. Look around the table. Who are the decision makers? When you can talk to somebody who understands exactly what it is that you're looking at or understand, then that's the key. The cadets today, they're going to be the decision makers of tomorrow. And that's incredibly exciting because as I look up the ranks, as I look at senior leadership, I don't necessarily always see myself reflected. It's getting better. But I'm really hopeful that the cadet today in 20, 21 years does see themselves reflected in senior management, in senior leadership, and feels that not only have they been invited to the table, but they are the decision maker with and for everyone within the RCMP.
Here, go. No, don't jump on this part, boys. Go, okay, go. Thanks.
It's amazing to see them on their first day. They come in and they're timid and they're shy and they don't talk much. And then as we start running together as a troop, as we feel what it feels like to be at our maximum effort together, everybody comes together and then on graduation, they're a whole new person. Physical fitness is important at Dépôt because physical fitness is important in the field. Cadets must work out 5 times a week. They must do a mandatory of 3 cardio workouts and 2 resistance workouts. And that's the minimum.
Ça aide à gérer le stress. C'est vraiment, vraiment essentiel sur le terrain. Si tu veux être un bon backup, il faut avoir un bon niveau de conditionnement physique.
For FPPC number 2, which is the test that's being done today, they'll wear a weight belt. On position ready go, they're going to complete 2 laps of the course. The first 2 laps, they are weaving in and out of cones. On the 3rd lap, they're going to run past a set of cones. And when they get to their 2nd set of cones, they're going to cut in and go over the fence. Once they get over that fence, they're then going to complete 2 additional laps. For FPPC number 2, they must complete this in 2 minutes and 39 seconds. So the cadets will finish their foot pursuit. They're able to grab water, take a little walk, and then they'll proceed to the push-pull. The push-pull is the push of a sled in an M pattern. You have to go right into taking down the mannequin immediately after that sled is done. So that's going to stimulate our kind of fight phase. The mannequin, you have 3 attempts to take down in order to be successful in the test.
Alors, ça nous a pris 8 années de dessiner le test. C'était une équipe de membres réguliers, c'était aussi une équipe de chercheurs. Donc, on a dessiné un test qui prend 700 tâches que tu pourras peut-être être demandé de faire pendant la journée comme un membre régulier. Et on les a mis en 4 tâches spécifiques.
Not only is it important to be fit so that we can do our job safely, fitness is so important for our mental health. When you get into the field, You are going to be presented with stressors that you have never had to deal with prior to becoming a police officer. Physical fitness is going to allow you to handle that stress a little bit better. And you need that, because if you're going to have a healthy career, you need to have a healthy mind. The cadets are always encouraging each other. It's such a positive environment. The cadets are encouraging each other, the facilitators are encouraging each other. Even if someone is unsuccessful, people are still so supportive of each other. Our job is to get people to be fit to be police officers. And we want to see people succeed, so we'll do everything that we can to help them get there.
The light's going to tell you where to go. You're not allowed to touch your brakes. So it should look like something like this. Now I'm going to do it the same way, but I'm not going to use push-pull.
Okay.
You see like the truck?
Yeah, you slide, yeah.
And the truck kicked into...
As we know, police officers spend a considerable amount of time behind the wheel of a police vehicle. When you see police officers out in public, usually it is in a police vehicle. So a considerable amount of time spent driving to, from calls, receiving information, emergency vehicle response, all of that, and getting to the call and ensuring that we are safe in doing so and ensuring the safety of Canadians as we do it is a very important factor.
Yeah. Which one would you do and why?
Left, because I saw a car coming.
You remember, right? You're far behind.
Yeah.
And you have to catch up and everything.
Okay.
So if it's not safe to do so, you don't...
We use an acronym called SIPT, Search, Identify, Predict, Decide, and Execute. As you're driving, you're continually searching your surroundings, being aware of what's going on around you. As we know, stress can have a big impact on your driving, so the more stressed out the cadets get as part of calls that are created here, shows them how it affects their driving abilities. So to try and demonstrate that so that they can develop techniques to work with that. We also introduce gravel road and highway driving. As the program continues, we bring them towards advanced driving. Advanced driving looks at vehicle dynamics, higher speed, more dynamic type driving situation, physiological, psychological type of considerations, and then we end on emergency vehicle operation, which could be on your way to a call, pursuit driving, and then taking information and making policy-based decisions based on situational factors. So the track's developed and it's showing, again, numerous different factors that people might, or say police officers might face as they're driving around in public. It'll have curve negotiation considerations, it'll have emergency lane changes, it'll have close quarter stuff where you have to make decisions based on vehicle placement and spatial awareness. So the track's developed to show all of those different skills and to try and build a cumulative component of everything to build it all together so that you can apply it all at once as you're basically on the way to a call or experiencing these different factors. The patrol driving, that is the first benchmark that they'll receive with us. So passing the patrol drive would require that score of 59 out of 85 or higher, and ensuring that you're a safe driver throughout. The next drives that they face that have benchmarks on them are their gravel and their highway drive, both have score components. As we transition to the track components, each track component has a different requirement to pass. Our cumulative track is a 4-minute time that is required. They're not allowed to strike cones, they have to have vehicle control, and they actually are graded on a rubric. They do collision avoidance, where they are avoiding a collision at a 70 and an 80 km/h speed. The 70 is done without brakes, the 80 km is done with brakes. Get no cone struck, make the right decision, vehicle control throughout the exercise. As they transition into their emergency vehicle operation benchmark, where we're introducing pursuit policies to them, they have to drive safe, factor in all the information that they're learning from dispatch, and make the right policy-based decision in order to pass that particular benchmark. We need to be able to safely operate these vehicles so that we can get to the call, so that we can ensure the safety of the Canadian public that we're serving. Canada's full of unique spaces and places. We know driving in them has considerations, and we are introducing people to all of those different considerations. It's a great program, it's a fun program. It does put people and push people beyond what they thought they could do, but seeing where they can get to and seeing when they recognize that they can get there, from maybe hearing things like, I don't think I can do this at the beginning, to success at the end of the track day, is exciting, builds their confidence for a lot of other aspects of police work as well.
Buffalo Detachment is a replica of an actual working detachment. So if you were working in a small town, Manitoba, Saskatchewan, Alberta, someplace like that, that's very much what you would be seeing. That's what your detachment would look like. So we've got telecoms operators working there. We have our fleet of police vehicles. We have classrooms, we have interview rooms, we have a bullpen, which is where the members would work during their shift. And we have actually a functioning cells area as well. So during their time at Dépôt, cadets will be introduced to a number of different scenarios through Buffalo Detachment. So they will sign out a vehicle, they will be dispatched to their call by the dispatchers at Buffalo Detachments. From there, they will go to their call, determine what the problem is, solve the problem. Occasionally, they may need to make an arrest, and on occasion, they may need to lodge a person in cells. So that would facilitate returning to Buffalo Detachment with your person in custody, and if required, lodging them in cells. And so we would teach the entire process to the cadets here from start to finish.
Don't touch me. Mind coming with me? Don't touch me. I won't touch you. Thank you very much. So have a little over here. Bring your coffee. We'll have a chat over here. Okay. Wonderful. I'm cadet now. Can I get your name?
I need you to understand that I
folks, here's
well, you don't act like it.
Folks, do me a favor.
I promise.
Okay, scenario over.
Better.
Have a good day.
Thank you.
Where you from?
I'm going to Storage Piece.
Where you from?
You're Storage.
Okay, let's head back to the room.
Thank you. You as well.
Okay, how do you guys think that went?
We have a number of different scenario training facilities. We have a duplex, we have 2 houses, we have a mini mall, and lots of outdoor locations. So really, during the training in scenario training, you could be dispatched to any kind of a location. It could be a residence, it could be a business. Any of those places could be in play, and you have to deal with the situation as it arises. Testing occurs all throughout training. So every time you're taught a new skill, as you progress, you're tested on those skills. You're also required to practice and train to keep up those skills as you go through training. So all of those skills will be used for final detachment scenarios or for your final exam. So the final detachment scenarios are important, but all of the testing and everything that we do here leads up to that.
Right out.
All right.
Yep.
Si on reçoit de l'attention négative, d'habitude, c'est presque toujours associé à l'utilisation de la force. Donc, c'est important que les cadets comprennent qu'est-ce qu'on leur apprend, donc ils pratiquent les techniques qu'on leur montre, mais qu'ils développent leur habileté d'expliquer leur action. Qu'est-ce qu'on montre aux cadets pendant les cours de TDP? C'est beaucoup de techniques, dans le fond. On développe encore leur habileté de prendre des décisions. Donc, c'est pas juste cette situation-là, c'est quoi, qu'est-ce qui se passe, dans quel environnement, est-ce qu'on est dehors, est-ce qu'on est à l'intérieur, est-ce qu'on est dans un petit espace fermé ou est-ce qu'on est dans un grand champ? Mon environnement, mon sujet, son habileté physique, est-ce que c'est une grande personne, une petite personne, une personne athlétique, une personne infirme? Tous ces aspects-là, tous ces points-là vont venir en considération quand je vais prendre une décision. À TDP, quand on est en classe, on leur pose la question: qu'est-ce que vous pensez qui est l'intervention la plus commune dans la GRC? Puis tu vas entendre différentes réponses. Ah, c'est une clé de poignet ou c'est le menottage. Mais c'est la communication. Notre habileté de pouvoir communiquer avec nos sujets est très, très important. Puis on met un accent sur ça pendant le 26 semaines à TDP. Puis même dans des situations qui sont à risque élevé, mettons comme si j'aurais mon fusil pointé à quelqu'un pour une raison ou une autre, c'est pas comme si je suis silencieux à partir de là. Non, j'utilise ma communication. Je dis à mon sujet qu'est-ce que je veux qu'il fasse. Le programme de TDP est toujours en train d'évoluer. Quand je suis arrivé en 2019, il y a déjà eu plusieurs changements. Donc, on a fait des changements à notre programme de striking, on a fait des changements à notre programme de grappling. On a ajouté le Taser 7 récemment. Ça a commencé avec la troupe 16 en 2023. C'est toujours en train de changer, on est toujours en train d'évoluer avec le temps puis de s'améliorer pour, dans le fond, faire face à ce qui se passe dans le monde.
I want you to put that front target up right away. Hang it, that'll be well. And then I want you to top up your depleted magazines with 10 rounds each.
Here at the Firearms Training Unit, cadets go through just over 100 hours of training. The only time we teach to use a firearm is in a situation where you're fearing that grievous bodily harm or death towards yourself or someone else, because it's lethal force and could take a life at the end of the day.
10 rounds each.
They have approximately 12 hours of classroom work at the beginning of their training. That's to make sure we cover off the safety issues, range safety concerns, general information about the firearms and the firearms program. So they're then tested on it on their second class here when they receive their firearms. And the expectation is that they abide by those rules every time that they attend a session at firearms. The only time that they're permitted to carry their firearm during training is when they're coming directly to the firearms training unit for their sessions. At the Firearms Training Unit, we specifically instruct the program for the 3 different firearms that we use in the RCMP. So we teach the program for the pistol, the carbine, and the shotgun. So we talk about our 4 big fundamentals, which is your stance. It all starts from your feet, to your grip on how you hold the firearm, to aligning the sights in order to have accurate shots, and then your trigger control. Our new 100-meter range, it's designed so that you can run 2 ranges at once. At the 50-meter mark, the range splits, so you can run it as one big range to have a session in order to shoot any of the 3 firearms. Or you can move further down the range and have 2 50-meter ranges if you wish. We teach a process, we call it follow through, scan, and breathe. So what that allows a cadet to do, or someone involved in a shooting, it opens up your tunnel vision.
Break your sight picture, bring your pistol in close to your body, breathe. Look to your left. Start scanning your environment. Look to your right.
If you're ever involved in a shooting, it could be a very, very stressful situation. So by doing that scan, that 360 scan, while you continue to breathe, it calms your body down. It allows you to check your environment to make sure that there's no other potential threats.
During your movement, so if we're moving, that's your time you can take.
Regular members are required to qualify on their firearms annually. So once they graduate from here and go to their divisions or their detachments, the expectation or mandatory that they requalify every year.
We have virtual reality for some aspects of training. We have simulation for aspects of training. We're looking at artificial intelligence in terms of firearms training and different things like that. So I think it's a very pivotal moment in the history of the RCMP in that we have so many things available to us with the advancement of technology moving forward that we can use to our advantage.
Présentement, ce que vous voyez en arrière, c'est nos simulateurs de conduite. On a également des simulateurs de tir qu'on utilise à 2 volets, au niveau du tir d'adresse ainsi qu'au niveau de la prise de décision. Donc, des scénarios qui forcent les cadets à prendre une décision en matière de leur intervention avec les clients.
So, 9 Charlie 1 from dispatch.
Go ahead, dispatch.
We just received several reports of a man dressed in camouflage clothing holding a shotgun who is unlawfully hunting near the creek in Wascana Park.
What's the problem?
Drop your weapons, sir. You're under arrest.
You guys quit hassling me. I'm not bothering anybody here. Leave me alone. Everybody knows I'm doing this, and it doesn't bother anybody else. Get the hell out of here. Oh, yeah?
The simulation training unit does have some range sessions where the cadets will go and use deactivated firearms and train virtually.
Takes some pressure and stress off their bodies as well as their hearing, puts them in a bit of a more relaxed environment.
Les simulateurs de conduite, on les a ici configurés en 2 groupes de 4. Les simulateurs sont tous reliés ensemble par le réseau qui est contrôlé par notre instructeur ici. On est capable d'exposer les cadets à différentes situations, de les initier à certaines habiletés qui n'ont peut-être jamais eu à s'habituer, telles que les télécommunications. Donc, pendant qu'ils conduisent, il faut qu'ils soient capables de parler sur le radio de police, d'obtenir de l'information des répartiteurs. Puis l'autre aspect, c'est justement de les mettre dans des situations où est-ce qu'on ne pourrait pas vraiment faire ça avec des voitures, telles d'aller au centre-ville de Regina avec les sirènes puis les lumières de police. Donc, on est capable de faire ça dans cet environnement ici.
Often what you'll see in the media is our drill program, the marching, the yelling, the impressive red surge, and the boots. And people think that that's what we're all about. I can say that the drill program only counts for 3% of our training, but it teaches so many other things. Absolutely everything that we do at Dépôt has a tie to operations and operational policing. It teaches resiliency. It teaches you to maintain composure in the face of adversity. The first time that you get yelled at should not be on the street in front of 1,000 protesters.
On travaille beaucoup ici, ce qu'on va souvent faire des liens avec, ça va être l'intégrité, le professionnalisme, la fiabilité qu'ils doivent démontrer en tant que futurs membres de la GRC. Ils vont avoir développé un sens d'appartenance de l'équipe, de l'esprit de corps qui est très, très important, très, très unique à notre organisation. La confiance d'un policier va définitivement jouer avec sa facilité de répondre à un appel, sa facilité de développer des liens avec la communauté également. Quand ils peuvent avoir cette confiance-là avec le public, ils vont avoir droit à beaucoup de succès dans leur carrière.
In speaking with cadets, a lot of them will say that they were intimidated by the drill program at the beginning, and the vast majority of them, when they leave, talk about some of their best memories are in drill, and they say that we should never get rid of it. And being a world leader in police training, we host police agencies from all across Canada and around the world, and places that have completely cut out their drill program come to us and say, we will never get it back, but it was a mistake for us to cut it out completely.
Le cours des sciences policières appliquées ici à Dépôt est le cours où les cadets passent la majorité de leur temps durant la semaine. Je vous dirais plus que 50% du temps. On leur enseigne vraiment la fondation policière et nous leur enseignons aussi leur pouvoir d'arrestation, nous leur enseignons comment utiliser la base de données policière, ainsi que comment bien performer durant les scénarios et avoir une bonne présence policière. Nous leur enseignons la base et la fondation policière afin de comprendre le code criminel et que les cadets puissent aussi comprendre les pouvoirs qui viennent avec leur responsabilité de devenir policier. Le programme de formation des cadets est un cours qui est très intense, qui peut être très difficile. Cependant, les choses que nous voyons souvent que les cadets ont de la difficulté est le conditionnement physique, la gestion du temps, ainsi que la planification et l'organisation de leur temps. Durant les 26 semaines, nous avons plusieurs sessions que nous appelons des matières essentielles, notamment comment prendre des notes, la collection de preuves. Durant leur examen final de détachement, ils sont attendus de répondre à un appel, prendre une entrevue avec la victime, faire une arrestation, saisir des éléments de preuve et tout ce qui a été enseigné au courant des 26 semaines, il y a une chance que les cadets rencontrent ces choses-là durant leur examen final.
Hi, I'm Cadet Sora from the RCMP Buffalo Detachment.
What do you want?
And this is my partner.
Donc, à TDP, on leur montre les techniques d'utilisation de la force, mais pas juste ça, c'est expliquer nos actions. C'est d'expliquer leurs actions d'une manière qui fait du sens pour quelqu'un qui serait peut-être pas un policier. Quelqu'un qui pourrait regarder les mêmes circonstances puis, dans le fond, tirer les mêmes conclusions. OK, le policier il a fait face à X, Y, Z. À cause de ça, il a pris ses décisions ici. Puis quand le policier explique ses actions, quelqu'un d'autre pourrait regarder la même situation puis dire « Ouais, OK, avec qu'est-ce que le policier est en train de m'expliquer, ça fait du sens dans ce contexte-là. »
If somebody wants to leave, can we stop them? No. No, unless they're under arrest. Bye, see you later. Yeah. Just be careful that if they do go, that you don't go too far out of your partner's sight. So I was kind of watching and you're kind of following Laura, but then kind of backed off. So yeah, just be aware of that.
La prise de notes est très importante pour les cadets ainsi que les policiers sur le terrain. C'est l'outil qui nous permet de nous rafraîchir la mémoire lorsque nous allons à la cour, puisque souvent nos dossiers peuvent prendre des mois et même des années avant de se rendre au tribunal. Alors, vu qu'on voit beaucoup d'autres choses entre dossiers, la prise de notes nous permet de nous remettre sur la scène au moment même et nous rafraîchir la mémoire afin qu'on puisse donner un bon témoignage.
I'm with Applied Police Sciences, but also I'm with the EARTH team, so that's the Emotional Resilience Skill unit that we're teaching additional to Applied Police Sciences. It is important for us as police officers out in the field to be able to take care of ourselves just like our physical health. It's the new skills that we're trying to introduce to them, just so that when they get in the field, they are ready to take care of themselves and ready to deal with the high level of stress that we will face on a day-to-day basis. They learn how to break down emotions into 3 components, which are thought, physical sensation, and behaviors. And what it is just to make it easier for them to realize things that's happening based on what we call the antecedent or trigger. They just have to look at their own feelings and understand how to analyze it and how to handle each of the components. And then we provide them with the techniques on how to deal with each of the components of their emotion. We introduce them to meditation. We introduce them to a few ways of thinking that isn't going to spiral. The big problem that we have in the field is the older generation. We are expected to not feel. We don't want to show the weaknesses. So most members just learn to hold it or push it aside. We're trying to teach cadets that it's okay to feel how you feel and see how we can respond with positive behavior. Conflict happens all the time, and they learn to deal with stress. They learn to deal with how to communicate when the emotions are high, and they learn how to sort out the problems among themselves. And so they take that into the field to realize that that's going to be your full-time job. Pretty much most of the calls that we respond to are to deal with conflict of other people. And you learn to understand that certain things that people say to them will make them feel a certain way, and sometimes strongly, but they are able to recognize that I'm angry because what happened, or I'm upset because, and they are able to decompress, and they're able to let it slide off their back, or they're able to recognize and then pick a different, healthier behavior to cope with their stress.
Pour les cadets qui ont des difficultés d'apprentissage dans les sessions de sciences policières appliquées, nous avons des ressources disponibles 7 jours sur 7 pour eux. Nous, en tant que facilitateurs, pouvons leur aider. Ils peuvent aussi se fier sur leurs camarades de classe. Nous avons une travailleuse sociale et nous avons aussi une caporale qui travaille à la bibliothèque de dépôt, qui est une liaison entre les cadets et nous.
Policing has changed, it's evolved. We need to be able to support what we're doing.
There's constantly change and change for the better, right? It's to adapt to the new challenges that we're facing in the field, to adapt to the changing environment in Canada as a whole.
We've had to adapt and change to meet the needs of Canadians.
The holistic approach to training is different than it used to be. I think that it's more organic, and I think that there is more of a focus on wellness and well-being of people here that maybe wasn't here 20-odd years ago.
That's kind of my favorite, that evolution of going from you're new and then now you're a member of the RCMP.
There's definitely a sense of pride when they leave here fully qualified and graduating.
The confidence that they have grown and developed over the last 26 weeks is amazing. They show up here as civilian and then they graduate as Mounties.
Our teamwork in Depot echoes in our jobs every day. We all work as a team. We can be transferred to another area, another detachment, but we still work as a team. We all have that same common training and work towards a common goal.
So it doesn't really matter, you can go on a course anywhere in the country and you all sort of have a shared experience that allows us to all kind of like relate to each other.
And that sense of teamwork that I learned at Depot, I'm able to take now, whether I'm working in a detachment for the RCMP or with the Major Crime Unit, where teamwork is so important to find success through our investigations. And I think I learned a lot of that through Depot.